one of the things about your band for me was that I kind of discovered you guys at a time when I also discovered a lot of female fronted bands or bands with females in. And in particular, when I saw you guys for the first time at Arctangent. I think it was 2018,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
Yeah. And I was just blown away by the support that there is for female musicians, where, maybe at the bigger festivals, that's just completely lacking. I've seen a lot of criticism for particular festivals where that representation just isn't there.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the scene? Is it kind of moving in a positive direction, or is it sort of still, is there a lot of work to be done in terms of representation?
I think the underground and the more independent festivals are like exemplary in their representation of women on stages. Festivals like Arctangent, 2000 Trees, Damnation in the UK, Roadburn in the Netherlands, these kind of more artistic festivals where you get proper good underground bands and good headliners, not absolute trash on the main stages. Or even Bloodstock. Bloodstock have a great lineup. Like, we're playing Bloodstock next year, hopefully, and loads of great women on that bill. And I think the smaller festivals are leading the way in terms of representation for women. And then you've got bigger festivals like Download, who have very few women on their main stages. And I did a big tweet about this last year that kind of blew up, and I probably shouldn't draw back to it, but I'll just say that tweet had consequences. And yeah, so I will. Oh God, I'm digging myself a hole here. But yeah, like, hopefully, all I'll say is hopefully in the future, Download can maybe get a better attitude and be a bit more open to having women on their big stages. But we'll see. I think the problem with that is because people always sort of say, well, like, oh, don't force it. And I don't think the 50-50 pledge is a good idea, because I don't think putting gender before the actual sound of the band is the right way to go about it. I don't want to be booked because I'm a woman. I want to be booked because Svalbard fit the bill musically. But you'll have the Download festivals like Download attract a more mainstream crowd, and they're the kind of people who won't be exposed to something like Arctangent or bands, all the great women that we see on stages at Arctangent. So they believe we don't exist. And
Yeah.
that's where the problem comes from, is people go, oh no, but there aren't any good women in metal. And it's like, well, there are, but you're not being shown them, because we're not being given a chance to get to those bigger stages because apparently women sell less tickets. So yeah. We'll
No,
see.
I completely resonate with that. It's something I feel personally as well, is that you do see a lot of you know but most metal musicians are male, or most metal fans want to see males and things like that. Very ignorant comments, but I do think that it's honestly led by those festivals. So where you are exposed to, as you said, a lot of female bands at Arctangent, and you just see that the talent is out there. It's clearly, it's not something that's tucked away. It's there. It's just, it needs to be given that stage. I completely understand what you're saying, and I do think it has to be led by the industry first, rather than, these bands shouldn't be fighting for that representation. It should just be, as you say, they're talented. It's
I think this is the one part of the issue that I've had, is when I've written pieces about this issue, people have come back to me and said, you want to get on the main stage at Download, be a better band. And then the argument is always that women can't do it, and that they're not talented, and that they're not worthy of a slot on a stage at Download, because these kind of people genuinely believe it's a meritocracy. Like, they believe that to be worthy of second headline slot at Download, you need to be a good band. And I'll just, say, like, bands like Downwood had that slot, and are they talented? I'm
yeah,
just
of
getting
course.
really mean now, but like, there's this misconception that it's a barometer of like how talented you are, and that if there's absolutely no glass ceiling, and there's no closed doors to women, and there's no negative attitudes in those board meetings. Heads of Download didn't say things like women don't belong on the main stage because they would prefer to be in the crowd watching the guys on stage. That attitude, apparently doesn't exist. And it's all about, you know, if we were talented enough, we'd be on there, which, I mean, you go to Arctangent and Damnation or Roadburn and you will see that we are. It's just, we're not being given those slots. And I hate this kind of denial of our, you know, experiences, that we're being sort of shut out from certain platforms. And then the men come in and go, well, no, that's not the case. It's just that you're not good enough.
Yeah, I think it needs to be normalized for people like that. They need to see better representation before they'll start to believe that
Yeah.
that those bands are out there.
Yeah.
Which is why it's so important that all these festivals get on board with that. In my opinion, you know, Arctangent was a huge moment for my partner who came with me that year, and just as a woman, you know, seeing all of these female bands was just hugely inspiring to her, and reassuring that, you know, she's been to Download and she's probably seen the flip side of that.
Yeah.
It's you know, so it has a huge effect on people, and it just needs to be driven by the industry, I think, unfortunately.
I think another thing that's a factor is the concept of risk, in that, you know, another complaint that larger festivals like Download have is that they book the same headliners every year, and they're afraid to book younger bands as well,
Yeah,
because
of course.
that's not going to sell. And basically what people need to get into their heads is that's this, they have the same mentality towards women, in that booking Nightwish for a headliner for Download would be considered a risk, which is absolutely crazy when they've sold out Wembley Arena. You know what I mean? They're bigger than Ghost, but like, you cut, that will be a risk to have them play the main, you know, headline the main stage. And it's, yeah, it's that kind of mentality of, I guess, you know, they've got to think about their finances and how much it costs to put on a huge festival like that. But I would definitely say that, yeah, festivals like Download are hugely afraid of breaking out of this male dominated, big 80s, you know, classic band formula that they have. And that's why it's sort of feeling like the same festival every year.